What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your boy Juro. It is February 1st, 2015, but you also know it as Super Bowl Sunday. Some of y'all gonna be home enjoying the game. Some of us gotta work, but nonetheless, if you're out and about today, please make sure you get back safely to those who truly love you, okay? Just make a promise that you'll do that, okay? All right, because we want you around. All right, so as I always do, I light a candle for each and every one of you and for the intended heart and mind, as I always do. This one is called Tranquility. It's by the Chesapeake Bay Candle Company. It's called Tranquility. But this candle is for the intended ear and heart. And that's you, because you deserve it. Your life is priceless. So, I'm putting this video out for a couple of reasons. I actually felt it on my spirit. I had a lot of synchronicities over the week. And the other day I went and had my hair tightened up. And I heard a story that really just like blew me away. And I'm not going to go into details on that, but it just was my validation. And I know that somebody may be getting ready to do this. So I hope this video finds you in the intended time. Now, the reason I'm putting this out is because I know that some of you are at that place in your spirit where you think that you're ready to be committed, to be married. And you're basing it on where you are today, but really it's based off of where you've been. And I'm putting this video out so that before you say I do, you ask these questions not only to yourself, but to the intended mate. Because see, far too many times, look, the divorce rate is a little bit over 50%, and you would think that in today's society with technology, with so many tools out at right there, that when it came to the sanctity of marriage, not only would it be sacred, but sound decisions will be made. But far too many times, that's not the case. So bear with me, because as you already know, that all things are from the Holy Spirit. I am just a vessel, and I convey it to you, to the intended heart. And when it comes to you, you deserve that, right? You deserve that. That's why it's very important, as I always convey, to speak your truth. But before you can speak your truth, you got to ground your feet. And it's okay. Because, see, far too many times we allow our environment, the people that are in our circles, to define who we are. But it is us to have to take each step to claim it. So when it comes to your life, no one's promised tomorrow. And I know sometimes we have associations and connections with people that feel heaven sent, only to feel like pain, to feel like hell, and cause you to question it all. So I don't know if y'all follow the blogs like Bossa, Media Takeout, and there's many others out there. But I saw a story earlier in the week of a beautiful woman that decided to get married. But here's the problem with it. There was no groom. And I thought, well, you know what? That must have been a typo. Why would someone opt to marry themselves? I mean, let's look at it. The average wedding nowadays start off about $5,000 and goes up. But more importantly, your heart is priceless. You can't put a price on that. So as I started to read the article that was put up there, there was a picture up there. And she was with her bridesmaids. And it struck me even more because I noticed that there were no men there. And I was like, wait a minute. You're having a wedding ceremony, which is, a wedding ceremony is nothing but a covenant with God. Let's water it down. It is a sacred promise to Him. So, when I looked at the picture, I saw something that really bewildered me. And that all the bridesmaids looked the same. But what caught me more was, if you look at their eyes, you look right here, the bridge of the nose, the eyes, that's why they say the eyes are the window to the soul. And I saw a weariness on each and every woman. I even saw a woman that was in the procession that had a pose like, it don't matter, I'm the belle of the ball anyway. And that kind of disturbed me too, because it made me think a little deeper on, well, what were the true connections with this woman? Was there not someone in her group, in her circle, that said, hey, you don't have to do this. There's a blessing in it all. Now, I don't know why she opted to do this, but for some reason she chose to go forth. So my second question in that would have been, if you're making a covenant with God, why wouldn't the official that was preceding this ceremony also said, hey, you can't do this. This is disrespectful not only to you, but to him. Why? And third, was this ceremony that was being performed in her behalf a silent cry for validation, for her to more or less say non-verbally, I just want someone to love me. I just want to feel protected. I want to feel safe. I'm willing to go the extra step to show you that I'm committed. But the question is this: how can you be yoked when you're by yourself? Now, this is not out of disrespect. This is out of compassion. So I'm putting this video out for each and every one of you, because some of you may be thinking about it right now, that, you know what, where you are in your life right now, that you may think that marriage is the remedy to your reality. And I'm here to tell you something. marriage can sometimes, not to make light, be a full contact sport. Your heart gets beat up. Your mind gets disheveled. Your physicality goes through things. But if God is not in it, it is not blessed. And it's going to fail. You know how the scriptures say, don't build a house on the sand, but build it on a rock. Your rock is your faith. And I know I'm paraphrasing it. I'm a babe in Christ just like you. But I know this, when it comes to your self-worth, what's the rush? What's the rush? See, my queens and my kings, hear what I'm saying to you right now. Though we have free will, you do not have control of your destiny. It was already written the moment you took your first breath. You understand that, right? That's why it is important for you to discern your actions before you engage into whatever you decide to do. So, for those that may be thinking about getting married, don't do yourself a disservice if you have not thought about the following things I'm about to put out. Number one, has the person that is in your life earned the right to not only be your protector, your comforter, but your friend? When you're in the midst of this person, do they speak their truth? Now, it's easy for someone to project their thoughts through anger, through action, because you know that ain't nothing but made up of fear. There's no strength in that at all. And it definitely doesn't make you a man or a woman. That just shows that you're imbalanced and you're not ready. Number two, here's another reason that you're not ready for marriage. Because you see somebody in your circle getting married or got married, and you think it is the it thing to do. Come on, queens, let's be honest. You get invited to a wedding, what's the first thing that comes through your mind? When is someone going to change my name? But more importantly, change my life? Don't you realize your mate, your prospective husband or wife, will never have the ability to complete you? They only validate your state of mind. Which brings me to number three. Does your prospective partner have a relationship with your higher power? I know him as my Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying, oh, because he goes to church. Because trust and believe what I'm about to tell you. Hey, even demons go to church. They know the Bible better than some of the best spiritual people, because they use that as a weapon against you to manipulate the way you think. And guess what? It's not blessed. So why put yourself in danger, emotionally, physically, and socially? Why would you do that? You're not ready to be married. Please bear with me, y'all. I'm also nursing a slight cold. This last week I was going through it, so bear with me. Number four. So, you're thinking about getting married. Have you truly invested the time that you know that through thick or thin, that mate, your prospective partner will be there. Now, I don't mean put up with your bad behavior, because, that's nothing but that Ahab spirit. We already know about that. We also know how Jezebel works too. No. When the chips fall down, will they be there for you? See, your mate, utmost, should be your best friend. So therefore, if your relationship was based on the physical, it's not yoked. You just turned around and took 10 steps back, only to pay the price through your relationship. And let's bring that to 6. Some of y'all, and I mentioned this on another video, and let's be real, y'all, because you deserve to be loved, you deserve to feel emotionally safe, you deserve to speak your truth, because these are things that must be possessed in you first before you can even entertain a covenant with another human being. These things are found in you. That's what you attract. Energy out is energy received. That's why when people get married for other reasons, because there's an agenda, the agenda always comes out, and they end up paying for it later on, constantly. Why? Because they have a prideful spirit. That is why you see this play out. You see the dynamic, and it's the spouse is the assertive one, and the groom, the husband, he's physically there, but emotionally he done checked out. Why? Because it ain't yoked. It's not yoked. Why would you turn around and bring turmoil into your bond, especially if it's something you going through? Why would you do it? You're not an emotional punching bag. We're not even going to talk about domestic violence. You don't need to be there. How about number 7? And this is very prevalent today, ever so. You have people getting married because of what the other person brings to the table. But guess what they don't bring to the table? They don't bring love. So basically, it's a relationship based off of financial longevity. So once the money runs away, the relationship falls apart. Why? Because it's not yoked. My queens, you know that devil ain't nothing but a liar. He's so bold with it. He's actually got men doing the same stuff that a lot of women have done. That's why you got so many men out here that are just, okay, I got you. I ain't gonna grow with you, but I got you. That's like putting a tick on a dog. Until you pull that out, all it's gonna do is become toxic. And that is why you see this. What do? You start to become inverted in your emotions. You feel that you can't talk to anybody. And anytime that you try to talk to someone, they always water down your emotions. First of all, they're not your friends, because they're there for the ride too. There's a gain in that. And when you have the strength to see the truth for what it is, you do what you need to do and let God discern you up out of there, because they don't deserve to walk with you. That is not a true friend. See, a true friend knows the difference between unconditional love. They love you no matter what, even if that means they're not in your life. They pray for you. They keep you in their prayers. They ask that your angels and spirit guides always walk with you and give you the proper clarity to see those who only want to exploit your mind, body, especially that body and spirit. See, a marriage should feel like air. Yes, we go through things. You're going to have challenges. Yes, but shouldn't that bond be the essence of what the family tree represents? See, it doesn't matter how big a family tree is unless the roots can support the branches. And your branches are nothing but the extensions of you. So guess what? If that tree's sick, the roots are sick. And what I just described to you is a generational cycle. So it is very important before you decide to say I do, you ask these questions to yourself. Why do you want to get married to this person? Has this person earned the right to change your name, to change your life, to bring growth and blessings? Because you do understand, if they do not have a connection with God, they are your taskmasters. They are brought into your life to teach you what you don't need compared to what was a desire. And you do not deserve to walk that. So it's very important that you speak your truth. And if that means you got to walk away, walk. Do yourself a favor and walk the hell away. I know somebody saying, Joe, why would you say that? I love him. Do you love him for spirit, or do you love him for what he does to you? Some of y'all are in relationships because it's sex. He makes you feel something that you never felt before. But guess what? Don't you realize that the one, yeah, her, him, every time that you turn around and give yourself freely to this person, you take away the experiences that should be felt in your marriage. And no amount of tears are going to balance out that. Why do you think soul ties exist? My queens, do you realize, and please look it up, that every time that you allow someone in your temple, you have an archive of that DNA. So if you're out there getting it in, guess what? The person that you was with years ago, their DNA still lives in you. But guess what? You know what that is also translated as? Their spirit. Their spiritual essence still lives in you. So guess what? If they weren't about Christ, if they didn't walk with God, guess what? They didn't love themselves. And if they didn't love themselves, how could they have loved you? See, you're worth, my kings and queens. You deserve that. Now, I'm going to always say this. I'm going to keep saying this until the intended ear hears it. See, society has found a way to play on your emotional triggers. That's why social media is the way it is. That is why dating sites make millions of dollars off your insecurities. They do. They take profiles from willing people and put them up there. And all they do is use a database to find commonalities and say, oh, this person fits, only for you to be disappointed when you meet them. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. See, God don't need your help to bring the intended one that's going to change your life. And the sooner that you accept that, the sooner you will begin the work needed so that union can happen. But here's another thing that a lot of people, I don't know why we do it. You ready for this? See, if the sex don't get you, and the finances don't get you, there's always Old Faithful. And Old Faithful is this, because there's a burden put on your spirit so deep that you've given up on yourself, so that you're just waiting for someone to take you out of your misery instead of grounding your feet to go through them. Don't you realize every breakdown is a setup for a breakthrough? That is why you constantly see the same cycle play out, because you have not learned the lesson. Reason why you go through that, because your higher power loves you so much, but he wants you to acknowledge him. He can't change your life until you allow him in. So therefore, if you've got a prideful spirit in your heart, pride and love can't be in the same spot. That's why some of you got so much anger in your heart. And what do? You turn around and fellowship with someone with the same like-minded persona. But think about it. With friends like that, who needs enemies? If your peers are not trying to build you up, see, as I keep trying to convey to you, a real friend, and trust when I say this, they are priceless and hard to come by. But God, he loves you so much, he even give you something that you don't deserve. Yeah, you do. And what happens is they will plant those seeds in your heart, so that when you keep going down that road of non-deserving people, the, waste your money, waste your gas, burn some calories. When you start to go through your dramas with them, you'll be thinking about what they told you. And you'll realize what they were saying was not out of spite, it was actually out of love. Because see, a person that has made the choice, and I'm going to bring this up, I'm going to hold that thought because I'm going to throw this one in there. If you're getting married, fellas, let me put you on blast on this one. See, I got to find an article, but there's a tactic that our queens, some, not all, are trying to incorporate to woo you, and it is being submissive. So I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, it's in the Bible for a woman to be submissive to a man. Yes, it is. But it's based on interpretation, because trust and believe this. If you're not submissive to God, it doesn't matter who you're submissive to, because that ain't yoked. And that's the only person you need to be submissive to, because guess what? The person that will earn the right to change your name, to change your life, guess what? They fear God. So they're not going to put you in a position that is going to be of duress. They're not going to do that. So my queens, for those that think that, well, if I keep his belly full and I keep his loafers light, you know what I'm talking about? He'll stick around. I'm going to tell you something. Any fool will stick around for a good meal and a warm bed. Ain't no love in that, but trust and believe. God has a way of custom tailoring the intended message for you. I know somebody needed to hear that. That's why you're feeling it in your heart. See, if you're ready, if you think you're ready to enter to that sanctity called marriage, guess what? You have to live authentic. Therefore, you got to speak your truth. Therefore, you can't have secrets. You can't turn around and say, well, you know what? I'm gonna use my book of tricks, and then once I get the ring, then I'll start repenting then. No, because guess what? You just cursed that union, and that union ain't yoked. And until you get real with yourself, will you have the peace and harmony that your life deserves. That's why so many times there's somebody right now just woke up out of their bed. Today, Super Bowl Sunday, looking over at their mate and realize that they ain't supposed to be there. You don't want to do that. For my family that is under the age of 30, heed the word of a brother. You think you're grown, don't you? You think you're grown. You don't even get to know who you are until you hit the back end of your 30s. The mindset that you had at 18 is not the mindset that you should have at 25. The mindset that you had at 25 should not be the same mindset that you have when you're 37. Because for a man, you start looking at life much different. And you start to see how fragile your existence is. And you start to understand that your life is more fragile than a piece of rice paper. So, for my kings, why do you think God gave you that name? No matter what the adversity is, the worst thing you want to do is have baggage and invite somebody into it when you ain't cleared it. I know somebody saying, well, Gerald, what she don't need to know won't hurt her. Well, guess what? Why do you think your baggage keep following you? Because you ain't did, come on, man. My kings, heed the word of a brother. One of the number one reasons relationships fail, because nobody wants to be honest on how they feel. They think, well, you know what? If I act a certain way, he'll get the point. Well, if I cut back the cookie, he'll get my attention. That's temporary. And it ain't blessed. Come on now. Come on. Don't do yourself a disservice. And let's bring this one into the mix. Because I know some of y'all are hell bent. Y'all got this mindset. You say, well, you know what? By the time I hit 40 years old, I'm ready to sow. I'm gonna settle down. I didn't sow my oats. When in essence, you basically said, well, I didn't got with all these people, and I didn't explore sexually all the fantasies that I could come up with. But you have not even scratched the surface of what ecstasy is until your husband or wife is in your life. Please don't fool yourself. I know, my kings, you're thinking, well, you know what, as long as I get it in, I'm good. As long as I bring the check home, she's happy, I'm good. Nah, man, you're doing yourself a disservice, because guess what? That is your last name that she's going to carry, and she cannot respect it if she don't respect herself. But she's not going to respect herself if she can't respect you. Stop idolizing what you see on TV. That ain't real. Don't matter how much money you got in the world. And this brings me to my main point. A lot of people, have you taken the time to look at the vows? Really look at them vows. I encourage that you do. Because far too many times, over 50% of the divorcees forgot that. Because what you're witnessing is a covenant. So you're making a promise with God that you're going to uphold this. But for some reason, there's a disclaimer. And they say, well, you know what? Well, Gerald, I was married to her, and I was being a good guy, and all she did was cheat on me, and she couldn't keep her legs closed. Or she's saying, well, I wanted to be faithful to him, but all he used to do was beat on me, even though he was a good provider. Let me tell you something. And I know I'm going to lose some subscribers on this, but I firmly believe this. if it's divinely meant. That means you got to have a relationship with God for yourself. Because you get in a relationship and the other person has a spiritual relationship, that ain't gonna protect you. And guess what? It ain't gonna last because it's gonna divide y'all. That's what being yoked's about. But the point I'm trying to make is this, and I'm looking at the time, and because I know somebody is teetering. They're so tired of playing the dating game. They're tired of having to pick their panties up and go from his house to his house and remember the same lie that they told. There's somebody that is saying, well, you know what? I'm tired of chasing these women because I'm just broke. You put yourself out there. You're not valuing how precious your life is. But trust and believe when I tell you this, y'all. God don't need your help to bring the intended person in your life. So you can go continue getting on them dating sites, chatting it up, and all you're doing is setting yourself up for more pain. My queens, let me tell you something. The man that is going to come into your life will be a spiritual man. Point blank. He might not be that brother that goes to church every Sunday, but I guarantee you he starts and ends his day in prayer. Because see, that's what governs his feet. That validates his actions. And he also knows that God is going to provide, even if that means taking him out of your life. Now, trust and believe, as I always tell y'all, because a door closes does not mean it's locked. That's why some of y'all are going through this. You're seeing people in your life that have been in your life for periods of time, and you're watching these people evolve. You're watching these people grow and come into their own. But the problem is you're not part of the transformation. That's happening for a reason. The reason is to show you that even a lump of coal can be a diamond. Sometimes you got to go through things to see your value and worth. And until you make a decision to place God first before you do anything, can you find peace of mind? Because that's what's priceless. Do you realize how priceless it is to just be able to be in connection with the person that you hold dear, to be able to touch their hand, how about just to caress their scalp? How about to touch them? That's what intimacy is about. How about to look into their eyes and you just get lost? That's what intimacy is. How about to be able to express your deepest thoughts without feeling judgment? That's what intimacy is. You will never find it in a hotbed of pleasure, because those are always temporary. And guess what, my queens? Let me tell you something. And I say this with all due respect. The greatest lover you gonna ever have will be your husband. All those other guys that have maybe lied, and you find out they do, were only auditioning for a VIP position, and that's in your life. But if God ain't in the mix of it, not only are you wasting your time, but you setting yourself up for more burdens to come. Now, as I wrap this up, so you're still thinking about getting married, huh? You think that's going to be the end all be all because you think, well, if I become a Mrs. or a Mr., then I'll finally get the respect of my family. My family won't be able to talk to me in that way because now I belong to someone. Nope. Don't do that. Don't do that for the edification, because it's not blessed. And all that's going to do is open up more woes, more pain. And you don't deserve to go through that. But just know this too, as I said, if you're really thinking about getting married, look at those vows Ask yourself, can you unconditionally do those things? See, my queens, if you think for 1 second by having an assertive position is going to win you a husband, nope. Because guess what? Sanctity of marriage is man and a woman. I know other people are going to say other things. It's written in the Bible the way it is. I don't care how you try to change it up. That's what he wanted, and that's what he decreed. And last time I checked, there's no amendments when it comes to the Bible. You got the New Testament, but even the New Testament prescribes it as he wished it be, and his will shall be done. So you can either keep fooling yourself and incurring more misery and pain. Ain't nothing worse giving your heart to someone that won't respect it. They don't see the preciousness in your life, no matter what you do. I know some of y'all going through that right now. You saying, you know what? I love you so much. If I had to walk on water, I would try. Even if that meant I drowned. Heed the word, my brother. Heed the word, my sister. It's going to be all right. You trust your higher power. Because I'm going to tell you what. And oh yeah. You know about those vows I keep echoing? For richer or poor, for better or for worse. See, if you don't put God in your life first before you even enter or even consider on that, guess what? Life has a way of humbling you down. I've watched people have a financial status 1 minute and have nothing the next. I've watched people with perfect health and then be stricken. See, that is the responsibility of the partner. Because when you love someone, I don't care if they're a leopard. You love every fiber of their being. Because you see what's in their heart, even if they can't. And you pray for them, even if that means you got to walk away. But trust and believe when I convey this to you, each and every one of you. Marriage is not a game. Marriage is not putting on a new pair of shoes, and once you get a scuff on it, oh, I don't want it no more, and throw it away. Don't you realize a marriage has certain tests in it? Because guess what? Why do you think you go through what you go through? It's because of that devil. The devil's there to show you how you made a mistake. But as long as you've got God in your heart, and you both pray together, and you know how they say, a family that prays together, don't you deserve it? Don't you deserve it? That's all I'm trying to say. And my queens, let me throw this disclaimer right here, and I'm going to shut my mouth. And I'm going to keep saying this so y'all can understand this. Because I know what it is to be a good man. I'm one of them. And I love my Jesus. The intended man. Man, this screen make my face look big, but that's the camera. Listen. If you have somebody in your life, and they're saying, well, hey, I want you to get a boob job. I want you to nip and tuck. I want you to add that in your backside. First of all, run like hell. Did you hear what I said? Run like hell. Because that's a false image. They're investing in a false image, and they're not investing in you. And they shouldn't have had the right to even walk with you. But I know sometimes y'all get You guys get caught up with the sex and they be blowing your mind out because they blow your back out and you never had that done. Which I keep trying to tell you, your husband is going to show you. He makes all jacket edges smooth. Your wife, she will make sure you know what paradise is. That's why God says, honor thy temple. So if you don't have boundaries in your life and you letting them thieves run in your temple, guess what? You got to repent for each and every one. Because until you do, you have soul ties. And those are spiritual demonic presence. That's why a lot of times y'all see this. You see somebody that you know was in a relationship, and depending on which spirit was stronger than the other, the weaker one will take on the traits of the strong, even their bad habits. And guess what? Also, their karma. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your life is not built off of social media. Your life is built off of divine intervention handed down by your higher power. I know him as my Lord Jesus Christ. So stop doing yourself a disservice. That's why some of y'all are so broken now, and you won't admit it. And what you do, you eat yourself, you pick up that bottle. Some of y'all are getting high, and you know what that's doing? It's just taking away from the beauty. All of y'all are beautiful in your own right, male and female. But guess what? You're selling yourself short. If they don't walk with God, they don't deserve to walk with you. And if they're not willing to invest in themselves, they can never lift you up. They will never claim you. I'm going to say, nobody owns nobody. You're God's child. So, if you're thinking about getting married, do the work first. Maybe it's not meant for you to get married right now. God, just ask him. Ask him to give you a sign. And be honest with the result. Okay? God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Listen, even I had to learn. I know when God's ready, he is going to honor me with my queen. And not only is she going to be magnificent, she's going to know by validation what love is. And guess what? I'm worth the wait. And so are you. So don't sell yourself short. Place God first in everything you do. I would love to hear from y'all. Like, don't like. I just appreciate the fact that you gave me the opportunity to convey this. And remember, as I always say, don't be an option. Be the choice. And when you decide to see your worth, you'll speak your truth. And one by one, those burdens, those fears, those insecurities will all be moved. Some of y'all already don't even realize you already ran into your husband, don't even know it. And some of y'all see him in your dream. That's for you too, my kings. It's about the preparation. You can have all the money in the world, man, but guess what? If God ain't in it, unfortunately, you'll watch it slip away. So don't do yourself an injustice. Okay, y'all. Hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl. Please be safe if you're out and about tonight, because you know Johnny Law is going to be there. But more importantly, we don't want you to come back. I would like to see you tomorrow because your life is worth it. Stay blessed, y'all. Bye for now.